It's really an honor to be on stage for your first Good Morning Slow in this new role, and so grateful for the opportunity to shed some light on what's often an invisible program, but is in fact foundational not only to our local food system, but also to our community's health and economic well-being. When we think of CalFresh, as Garrett mentioned, California's version of SNAP, some people think of it as food stamps. Many of us first think of food security, and that's amazing. It's ensuring that our neighbors have enough to eat and that they have the funds that they need to go spend at local businesses. But CalFresh is so much more. It's a powerful economic engine, providing stability through tough times and building resiliency for the future. Each month, thousands and thousands of SLO County residents receive a total of $6 million to purchase groceries. You need to apply, be approved, and be regularly recertified to continue receiving this money, and it can only be spent on food and groceries. For every CalFresh dollar spent, about $1.50 in local economic activity is generated, and it's generated really quickly, with most of this revenue coming back into local businesses the very same month that it's issued. Everybody needs to eat every day. And this rapid turnover, the constant buying of groceries, I think all of us probably go to the grocery store at least once a week. This means that CalFresh is particularly effective at buoying our economy in challenging times. When other spending might slow, CalFresh purchases continue and even grow, injected much needed revenue into local stores and farmers markets. And in San Luis Obispo County, farmers markets are particularly important because through a program called Market Match, you can double your CalFresh spending when you purchase at local farmers markets, and those farmers get all of that revenue at market rates. Indirectly, CalFresh also helps avoid community costs that are inextricably tied to food insecurity. Even a short time without the nutritious food that we need impacts our health for years. And alternatively, when our neighbors have CalFresh, their health, their productivity, and well-being improve, which in turn benefits schools, workplaces, healthcare systems, and our community at large. Selfishly, CalFresh also relieves pressure on our local food bank. When everyone who qualifies is enrolled and buying food at those grocery stores and farmers markets, they need us less, and we really, really love that. Because food banks were never designed to be a replacement for these benefits. In fact, CalFresh provides 9 meals to every 1 provided by food banks. And that is a gap that we never thought we'd have to fill. But unfortunately, as so often happens with effective systems, we are reminded most of their power when they fail. And earlier this month, as Garrett mentioned, CalFresh benefits weren't there when nearly 29,000 of our neighbors in SLO County needed them most. During the federal government shutdown, the impacts of this unprecedented 2-week delay in CalFresh rippled from panicked families and seniors unable to get the food they need, to our SLO Food Bank, which stepped up to meet an unprecedented 35% increase in need overnight, and to local grocery stores and markets whose customers had nothing to spend. One local store manager shared that they had planned for $250,000 in CalFresh spending during those 2 weeks, but had only seen $90,000 in spending and had to discard perishable fresh food that they had already purchased and had expected to sell. While we're so glad to see that the delay has ended and CalFresh benefits have been restored, the headwinds facing businesses accepting CalFresh have not ceased. And increased regulations will hit small stores hardest and are right around the corner. Right now, small, locally owned stores that rely on CalFresh sales to support their bottom line are required to stock 12 different food items and at least 1 dairy item, 1 grain, 1 protein, and 1 produce item. But proposed changes from the USDA would require those stores to more than double the variety of foods that they stock, forcing dozens of local business owners to decide between either increasing their stock without a customer demand reason to do so, or to no longer accept CalFresh benefits and shrink their sales. These new regulations don't just threaten the stores or food access for our neighbors relying on CalFresh. We all benefit when smaller, locally owned stores thrive, and we all suffer when they struggle. It is hard to be in retail in any industry, let alone retail that is perishable, is incredibly volatile pricing, and depends on your customers making ends meet. Whether we all benefit with these stores can thrive, and we all suffer when they struggle. Whether that shows up through higher prices, more limited hours, or even closing their doors altogether. And in SLO County, many of these stores that are most at risk are in our more rural communities. So people will have to drive even further to get to the groceries that they need, which means that every mile driven increases the cost of those groceries, not only for people who are on CalFresh, but for all of us who want to shop there, who want to be able to have community markets, to be able to go to a place where we know the people that are serving us. So in SLO County, CalFresh is not just a safety net. It is a local economic engine that we can't afford to take for granted. Every CalFresh dollar supports our small businesses, our healthcare system, our farmers, and our neighbors. And policy choices that delay, dismantle, and endanger this foundational program will ripple well beyond the families who will no longer be able to count on CalFresh for their next meal. At the SLO Food Bank, we are enthusiastic eaters. We are fans of food. We are so honored to be this community's food bank. And we are also fans of win-wins. And those can feel hard to find these days. But CalFresh Mix is an incredible example of a program that only has benefits. And benefits not only to the people it touches directly, but to our entire community and our food system. By working together, building understanding of this oftentimes invisible program, and ensuring that every single one of our neighbors who qualifies gets to sign up for CalFresh, we can maximize this positive impact and build a stronger, healthier, and more resilient San Luis Obispo County. Thank you.